Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio in Forsyth County, Georgia, welcome to the Retirement Planning and Wealth Management Podcast, brought to you by Webb Wealth Advisors. Visit webbwealthadvisors.com for their full scope of services. Now here's your host, Paul Webb.
Good morning, listeners. Hope you're having a great day. Today we have the special privilege of having Cathy Smith on with us. And she's a business leader, community leader, and all-around great entrepreneurial and great person. So happy to have you, Cathy. Welcome.
Thank you, Paul. It's been nice meeting you today.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to get the program started with some things about you. Tell me about you.
Well, Paul, I own a company called Cachet Corporate Gift Services. We've been in business for 25 years and have won multiple national awards for design and marketing. And what Cachet does is we create custom designed gifts for businesses. We don't have a retail establishment. You can't walk in and pick something off of the shelf. Everything is custom, and we make it to your specifications with your budget and your event and your timeline.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Mm-hmm. Well, how did that come about? What got you into that business?
I have been a real estate agent for the past 30 years, and some of the builders that I had suggested that I start doing that as closing gifts. And it really took off, and I was doing it for their clients, and then they asked me to start doing it for their vendors or anybody that contributed to their business for that year. So that's really how it got started.
Well, good for you.
Thank you.
From that business, you created that, and then you continued with the real estate, and you kind of do them both today, or?
Yes, I've scaled back on the real estate. I just do it by referral right now.
Gotcha.
I do this full time, and real estate, when somebody says, hey, can I buy a house? Sure. Or
exactly.
Can I sell my house? Yes.
Good. Well, tell me about some of the challenges that you face as a business owner.
Well, COVID was a big challenge.
Absolutely.
For everybody, but something that I ended up doing, and I've told this story a couple of times, is I had just gotten back from a food show at the beginning of 2020, and I had placed all these orders to bring in for my company, and then COVID hit, and I'm sitting here with $10,000 worth of inventory that was going to go bad. It was kind of scary, and I thought, and I said, there's got to be another way, because I was just going to take it as a write-off. And I said, no, there's a lot of people that have elderly relatives in nursing homes or kids away at college that can't come home. So what I did was I put together these, they were called Send a Hug boxes. And it was just a small box, and I was using the product that I had bought. And I was only charging them minimal for shipping and then basically sending the product out for free. Just to be nice. I'd rather donate it than have to trash it out. So that actually led into another product line for me. And then I started sending them around the country. People heard about it and said, that's a cool idea. I think I want to do that.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. You turned a really challenging situation into an opportunity.
I sure did.
You had to have a big heart to want to donate that. So God bless you for that. That's absolutely wonderful.
It felt good to do it.
Good. Glad to hear it. Well, tell me about your family.
I have 3 kids, 3 grown kids. They finally all live in the area now. A couple of them moved back from wherever they were. I have one 7-year-old granddaughter, and I'm getting ready to have another granddaughter in November. We're so excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Grandkids are wonderful.
They're fun.
Yes.
A lot of energy, though. Well.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the beauty of being a grandparent. You get to have them come over and have fun and spoil them as much as you can and then send them back to their parents.
That's what they say.
So good time, Grandma.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, glad to hear that. Since, of course, this show's about retirement planning and wealth management, tell me about what you've done as far as thinking about retirement and what you'd like to do.
Okay. Well, since I've been self-employed for 30 years, I don't qualify for any 401s. So years ago, I started a SEP and a Roth IRA.
Good for you.
Yeah. And I was contributing on quite a regular basis there for a while because I was at a location with real estate that I was making some big dollars. So
good for you.
But now it's a little bit more of a challenge, and I need to start shifting some things around and doing something different. So,
good. Yeah. Gotcha. Well, we'd love to help you with that.
Okay.
And love to sit down with you after the show and see what we can do to help you out. We tend to focus on the key things, making sure that you have plenty of money in retirement and that you don't run out.
That's a good thing.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we set up a plan and we're able to mathematically construct a program and engineer it so that it works great for your situation.
I'm real curious to find out what I can do to maximize that Roth, because that's the moneymaker right there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, definitely going to have some ideas for you on that. One thing I'll say, very smart, and I'll go ahead and compliment you. You did a great job getting on the Roth, because there's really only 3 tax-free products out there, and one is the Roth. The other is muni bonds, which anybody knows municipal bonds. They probably wouldn't want to be in those. They're returning about a 2% return, which is not good. And the other one is called a 7702, which is a tax-free program, which I'm going to give you details off the air about. And
not familiar with that
listener, one. Yeah. Basically, it's a tax code. That 7702 is an IRS tax code that allows you to put money away tax-free, put it in an account tax-free, and be able to take it out tax-free, which is huge. Because everything else, 401k, 403b, 457, IRA, 529, 512I, SEP, which you have, that's a taxable event when you take money out. So they are tax deferred, but then when you want to take the money, they need to do that. So, okay, good. We'll go ahead, after the show, and we'll get a plan together for you.
Sure.
And what are some of your goals as far as what you want to do in retirement?
Well, my house is paid off right now.
Nice.
So that's been paid off for about 3 years, but I'm probably going to be selling it really soon, and I'm trying to figure out what direction I want to go, whether I want to do a rental for a little bit and wait for the market to come down to be a little more reasonable, or go ahead and buy another house. It's kind of a difficult decision right now with rates going up. That's jumped up double since last September when I sold my daughter a house. It's like, oh.
Sure. So. Yeah. If I had to just give you a 10,000-foot view, if you sold, now's the best time to sell, because I think it's as high as it's going to go. And based on the economic indicators, as we've seen, I think there's going to be a correction in the market.
I don't know how there can't be. I've watched it. I was selling homes in 2008 when all of that happened, and saw some crazy interest rate programs that I knew that were going to implode and things like that. But I'm pretty conservative with things like that. About the bravest I've gotten with a mortgage is I've always done an adjustable. But they've always worked for me. I guess I have good timing on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
So,
well, if you can, you could sell now and then wait a period and, maybe just rent something part-time.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and then you can go and buy something that's bigger and better.
Maybe smaller. Downsizing. I have a big one now.
Hey, that's good. Okay, well, that'll actually be good. Whatever fits your lifestyle best. And, maybe if you like travel, do you like to travel?
That was my next comment. Yes, I love to travel. I've traveled a lot. I've been to several countries. And I haven't been anywhere since COVID, really, just for business. So, that's a big part of what I want to do, because I want to get out there and explore some more some more places I haven't been to yet.
Awesome. Yeah. Sounds great. That's a great plan.
I love it.
Well, good. We'll definitely figure out the best plan for you and show you some options and figure out what works best for you. Moving forward, do you think you'll at any point consider selling your business at some time?
Yes. Yes. Like I said, I've had it for 25 years, and it is nice. It's cyclical. I stay busy all year long, but the fourth quarter is where I'm just like slammed.
Sure.
And so I kind of have to base everything around fourth quarter, spread it out through the year. And then I think maybe within 5 years, if not sooner.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
I'm watching the economy.
Yes.
So, and with the inflation and everything being as it is, I've already seen a little bit of a drop in business. So
gotcha.
Watch it for 5 years. That's my plan, 5 years.
Good. Again, I congratulate you for being such a great planner, have your house paid for, able to sell your business, and be in a good situation. So what about as far as if you didn't sell it, what would you do as far as a succession plan?
It's on autopilot now.
Yes.
I can do it. And then when I have big jobs, I hire people to help me.
Sure.
So as far as that, I'm going to watch the economy for the next year.
Sure.
If it doesn't clear up a little bit, then I might be ready to sell sooner than 5 years.
Sure.
And I have the option on mine. I could either sell it outright as a business with my client list, with the inventory, with the name, or I can parcel it out, just sell the inventory and be done. So I've got a couple of options.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, we can help you with some valuation figures and maybe some of the best routes to go as far as how to sell it and the best way to do that. Do you have any questions for me today?
Sure.
While I'm thinking of new questions to ask you. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
Paul.
you.
What does leaving a legacy mean to you?
To me, it means a lot. And to our listeners, I hope it means a lot because you only have one life. And if you have kids and grandkids, as you do, you love your family, and you want to be able to leave things for them, for you when you're not here. And so I think it's real important that you have a legacy plan in terms of what you want to leave, whether it's life insurance or, some of your investments, and the best way for your family to get access to those at some point when you pass. So never a fun topic talking life insurance. However, there's policies out there that are threefold: retirement vehicles, where you can accrue compounded interest at about 9%. And that's the one where you can put money in and take money out. The other thing it does is it delivers a death benefit. God forbid something would happen to you, to your family. And then thirdly, it also, let's say, God forbid, you had a health issue like heart attack, stroke, cancer, any major chronic illness or disability. Let's say, God forbid, you were getting in a car accident. Our program allows you to be able to draw down on the death benefit at the time that you have the disability with a doctor's letter. And that can be very helpful because that's when you need the money.
Is that long-term care insurance?
It includes long-term care and living-like benefits. And I say that because depending on the policy size, if let's say it was $1 million policy, you could draw up to $900,000 from that, up to 90% of the death benefit when you need it then.
Okay.
And $900,000 should do pretty good in long-term care and living benefits.
Okay.
So, yes, so it really encompasses all that. So it's a great program, and it happens to be tax-free, and that is a part of the 7702 that I've referred to before.
I've never heard of that before. That's good information. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Paul, how do you help your clients prepare for their future?
Yes, I sit down, and it's a great question, Cathy. I sit down with them individually and ask them a lot of questions, and I learn about their goals like I asked you and what you want to do. And then we come back and present different options to meet those goals. Like if you have a goal, hey, I want $10,000 a month in retirement, for example, we can actually mathematically compute exactly what we would need to do in each of different programs to show you exact amount to have in retirement. We can show you how your money grows each year. And the most important thing is that it's tax-free. So
that's important.
So you can take the money out, because 401k, 403b, if you take them before you're 59, you're stuck with a 10% penalty as well as full tax.
Exactly. I knew that one.
Yeah, for sure. So,
can you convert a SEP into a Roth SEP or some other non-taxable when it's already set up as a SEP?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to look at how the tax, because typically Roth is not taxable. When you make some transfers, there may be some fees and stuff. But yes, we can do that, and we can look at that for you.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting. Yeah, everybody knows with stocks, the stock issue lately.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up, and I usually address that right out of the gate. But with the stock market doing what it's doing and the uncertainty of it, it goes up, that's good. It goes down, that's good. If you look at the last 50 years of the S&P 500, the average return has been somewhere around 9%. Now that 9%, and all the stockbrokers and everybody, well, we returned 9% on this. Well, that also takes into account about 3% inflation. So the real return in the stock market is 6%. Yep. So we offer a program. Plus, it's taxable. When you buy stocks and sell stocks and you keep them and sell them at some point, that's a taxable event too. So you're losing, if you figure 24% federal tax and 6% state tax, you're losing 30%.
Yeah.
So my question for everybody would be, why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you put it into a program whereby it's tax-free, number one, You can put money in as much as you want. The two issues with the Roth IRA are if you make over $198,000 a year in annual income, you don't qualify for it. And they only let you put in $6,000 to $7,000. If you're over 50, it's $7,000. If you're under 50, it's $6,000. So that's a big constraint, when you're trying to build a portfolio for retirement and investments. So, we just suggest to our clients, take a look at what we have to offer on this high compounded interest.
Does that age cap, you said 50, does it go up to 60 or higher, and then it's more you can contribute, or does it stop at the age of 50?
No, you can contribute on the Roth. You're speaking specifically about the Roth. Yeah, it's a cap of $7,000 a year.
After
from 50 over, no matter what age you are. 50 under, it's $6,000.
And that's subject to change. Every year.
I mean, it can be, but they inch it up a little. But the federal government is not going to give many people many tax holes. That's why the 7702 is so powerful. Okay. And they're in our business, in that industry, we have lobbyists always there with the lawmakers, lobbying for it to maintain the 7702 as tax-free.
Okay. Great. Good. Lots of good information, Paul. Thank you.
Well, good. Well, thank you, Cathy. I really appreciate you being here today.
Got another question for you.
Sure. Thank you.
Why is developing a personal relationship with your clients so important to you?
Well, it's important to me for several reasons. Number one, sorry to put it like this, but I believe in the good Lord, and the good Lord has placed the Holy Spirit in me, which is love. God equals love. And because I have all that love in my heart, I naturally care and love for people. And if I'm going to sit down with a client and try to set them up so that they're protected, their family's protected, their income's protected, their future retirement's protected, I need to get to know them personally.
Sure.
I need to really understand everything about them. I need to get a copy of their Social Security account statement to understand, what they're going to be getting in retirement. Also advise them when to take Social Security, because it's a big difference between 62 years old and 70 years old.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that.
Yes. My advice is wait as long as you can. However, if, say, your parents or family members lived into their 70s and didn't live much beyond that, then I would say take it at 62.
Right.
And also the person's current health condition.
Sure.
I want to know about how they had any heart issues, if they had checkups, or how are they doing? Yeah. Because that's a big factor in planning. Again, if folks live into their 90s, really anything about more than 85, I would suggest people wait. So at 62, you get about 72% of the total amount you could get. And each year it goes up about 8% that you wait.
Right. So
for most of us, depending on your age, it's about 66 and 10 months, almost 67 for full retirement age. That's where you get 100%. And it's based on the last 35 years, your highest wages that you earned in the last 35 years. Right. So that's a factor too, determining that. And then if you can wait till 70 years old, you get 124% total of what you would have gotten. So you can see a huge difference. But it depends on, the biggest factors are your health, your life, your family, as far as how long they lived. And then thirdly, what do you want your income to be?
Right. Question for you on that, Social Security.
Sure.
Say you wait to the mid-range, your actual retirement age, which is the 66 and whatever, or 67, whatever it has to be. You decide to take that for whatever reason. And then at a later date, say your spouse is going to be getting more than you are. They've got more hours in. Can you switch to theirs? And if you do at a later date, my understanding is you can switch once. Once you switch, is it like half of what they qualify
Yes, it's
for?
half.
Okay.
So good point. So what you'd want to do, and that's why I want to look at statements, and we can't plan without the actual statement. So we would look at it and see what yours is going to be. And let's say if you take it at 67, for example, and yours is this, and let's say it's either, a spouse that passed or a former spouse. If you were married to them 10 years, then you can take half of theirs, whichever's higher.
Right.
Which, of course, you'd want higher.
Right.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So that's kind of the way that works.
My sister has already taken it. She's 62. She took the first one because basically she needed it. Her ex-husband died, and so she qualified. She is working part-time, And I read something, and please clarify this for me if it's right or not. She said that she can only make up to a certain point, dollar-wise. Then they start, I think it's $1 for every 4 you make or $1 for every 3.
Yes.
And then the part that I read recently and sent to her was that, yes, they do that, but then they hold it into an account for you. And when you turn that actual retirement age, 67, you get that back. Is that true?
Nice. To be perfectly honest with you, I haven't heard that.
I just saw it a couple of weeks ago. Maybe I'll send it to
maybe
you.
it's a new tax law, and I need to jump right on that. But yeah, typically if you take it at 62, you're stuck with what you got at 62.
Well, she's taking it, and she's still working, but she wants to get
Yes.
another job, too, a part-time
Yes.
job, because it's hard to make do on what she got for Social Security. But she said, I could only make so much, and then they take all of this out. And then I read that and told her, and I said, well, if that's the case, just think of it as like savings account.
Right.
So,
but they may be taxing it. So, for example, if you're single and you're earning and you're taking Social Security, you can't show earnings of more than about $19,500.
Right. That's the number I thought.
And if it was a couple, then it's twice that.
Okay.
So she has to be real careful about that.
Yeah, therein lies the problem, though.
Yeah, well, if she were to
tough.
start a business that she could put together, create an LLC or something, and she has expenses, then that can offset the income a lot, as opposed to just a straight W-2. It gives you some flexibility in your planning. Sure. Yes, as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you do. Yeah. So that would be my suggestion. But I'm going to double check on that tax law that you just mentioned, and
I'll forward that email to you. Where I
that
found
would be
it.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then you just verify that it is what I thought it was.
It is or isn't. And
yeah.
also I'll tell you the tax consequences.
Right.
And are they really holding in an account for you? Or
I'm
planning to tax you more in the future.
Exactly. You have to factor so many things in. It's not really cut and dry, is it?
Yeah. And one thing just came to mind. 2018, President Trump put in a tax plan, and that tax plan expires in 2026.
Oh, lovely.
And so the lovely part is, if you're going to probably pay tax on anything, you probably want to do it before 2026, because God only knows after that.
Is that, when you're talking about that, is that pertaining to retirement?
It's pertaining to just your earnings tax rates.
Gotcha.
And that's real important. So the other thing is, and people know this, I mean, at one point, the tax rates were 94% up to a certain level for people that earned over $200,000. And this is a fun one. Who was the famous president that was also an actor?
Ronald Reagan.
Yes, Ronald Reagan. So Ronald Reagan, the reason he probably didn't become an A-list actor is because he only did 2 films a year. And there was a strong reason for that, because he earned about $100,000 a film. And so he did 2 films, so that's $200,000. Anything over that, he would only have kept 6%. The federal government would have taken the other 94%.
Okay, well, I hope he had a good financial person that told him that. It sounds like he did, right?
He did. So, but anyhow, so that's funny, and we think, tax rates won't go up. Well, after 26, after that tax law expires, all bets are off.
Yep.
So I would be real careful in your planning.
Scary time.
Because if you ask anybody, what do you think taxes are going to do? I get 100% answer. They're going up.
Yes.
There's no question about it. So
I agree with that.
Particularly with our trillions and trillions and trillions of debt. Yeah, exactly.
It keeps climbing.
You know a lot of things.
I'm pretty smart. No.
Hey, he's very impressive.
Yeah, we try to be up on some things.
Absolutely. Yeah. 25 years.
I like money, so I like to know.
Good. Well, we want to create more of that for you,
yeah,
Cathy.
I do too.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I've got another question for you.
Sure.
How do you help your clients prepare for their future?
Yes, I sit down, develop that personal relationship you spoke about, and I ask them a series of questions. I want to know what they want to do in retirement, how much money they want to earn. That's 2 of the biggest questions. How much do they earn now? How are they handling their taxes? Just a whole myriad of everything, their health situation, their family's history, all aspects of what they have and what they want to do. And we do a full plan, an estate plan that we put together. And, we have attorneys, we have partners, CPA partners. So let's say if you weren't that crazy about your CPA or your attorney, we can bring all that together for you and talk about trusts and, just full retirement planning. How is my estate going to play out? What is my legacy going to be?
There's the legacy again.
So that's it.
Another question for you.
Sure, you bet.
Share a success story from your firm, Webb Wealth.
Yes. This happened to be related to life insurance, but it was the life insurance in cash value life insurance that basically never expires. So whenever you pass, you collect the money, no matter what age you are. It compounded interest and grew, and the person had a lot of money in the end. Mm-hmm. This relates to a situation where a colleague of mine actually went to a client's home, and he met with a husband and wife, and the wife just said, "I'm so sorry, we can't afford that." And so my colleague left, and he was out in his car, and the husband came out, and he said, "Put that life insurance policy in today. I'll bring you a check this afternoon." Mm. So she did, and ironically, 2 weeks later, he died.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's at the funeral. This gets emotional for me. No. He's at the funeral, and she's crying her eyes out. Of course, she lost the love of her life, and she comes over crying and hugs my colleague and says, "What am I going to do? We didn't put that policy in place."
She didn't know.
And my colleague said, "Oh, you didn't hear? Your husband did put that policy in place. We're going to deliver you a check for $2 million next week."
Oh, my gosh. Well, they just lifted a weight right off of her, didn't they?
Oh, I know.
One weight anyway, yeah. Right? Big one.
So it's stuff like that that,
wow.
I was involved with my colleague. We worked together on the case. So it was such a blessing to see someone's life change.
Certainly was.
I'll tell you one more. So
okay.
This was a good one. So similar situation. It was a life insurance situation, and the lady's husband. And I always say husband because ladies live longer than men, and typically their life insurance costs are less because they live longer. So that's a good thing. But anyhow, I'd actually just started my firm, and we had this set up for this lady, and she calls. Or I call her, and she says, "I said we have a life insurance check for you." She goes, "Can you come right now?" Yep. So I delivered it to her, and when I came to the door opened, and she had her son on one side and her daughter on the other side, and we sat down on the couch, and with one on each side of the mother. I handed a check to her for $1 million, and she said, "Oh, thank God, these children will be able to go to college. I'll be able to remain in this house. And Johnny here will be able to continue with his football program. And my daughter will continue with her piano lessons. And we'll have a good life because of this."
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. That does move you, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does. It so happens that those life insurance policies or also cash value policies, and anyone else that had one, they're growing in cash every year about 8.9%. So if you keep one of those for 20 to 30 years, you're going to have easily over $1 million if you're making regular contributions. You can take the money out tax-free, and, of course, a death benefit is tax-free. But for yourself, if you can use the money for yourself. So that's great. Anyhow, any other questions?
I just keep tumbling in my head, and then I listen to you, and then I forget what I'm going to ask you.
All right. Well, let's be sure to talk after this. I look forward to spending time with you, and I want to thank our listeners for joining us today, and especially our special guest, Cathy.
Oh, thank you.
And it was great seeing you. And I want to thank you again as your host for tuning in, and don't forget my website, www.webwealthadvisors.com, and also our phone number, 678-410-7902. And I look forward to speaking to you all next month. Have a great day.